My name is Jeff, and today we're going to talk about managing credit cards. Should I only make minimum payments? I'd have to say a resounding no. Now, before we look at some examples of why, let's briefly discuss FICO score range. This is a FICO score range. It ranges from 300, which is bad, to 850, which is excellent. Now, FICO stands for Fair Isaac Company, which changed their name to just FICO. Now, creditors or lenders use your FICO score to make a risk assessment to determine if it's safe to lend you money. If you have a low FICO score, chances are they're going to charge you a much higher interest rate because there's a chance they may not get their money back. On the other hand, if you have a nice high FICO score, then they'll charge you a lower interest rate because they feel pretty confident they're going to get their money back. Either way, you're going to be paying for interest. Now, only making minimum payments can have a far greater impact for someone with a low or bad FICO credit score. Please keep in mind that the impacts shown on the next few slides are based on a low APR interest rate, which means high FICO score. So let's look at 3 examples of why it's a very bad idea to only make minimum payments. This first credit card has a $5,000 balance, an APR interest rate of 15.99% or 16%. Note that minimum payment, $99. So this person had $49.31 starting, made that $99 minimum payment, and now they're just under $4,900. But that's not $100 less, is it? And that's because this person paid almost $60 in interest, meaning that about $40 went to the principal. Now, at the bottom of every statement, there's a little disclaimer down here. It says, if you make no additional charges, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're not making any additional charges, where is this credit card? It's not on your person. It's not in your wallet. So this credit card is either shredded or thrown away. Now, based on that, no additional charges are being made to this card, and you only make the minimum payment. It will take 6 years to pay this card off. It's $4,900. You're going to end up paying $7,300, $2,400 in interest. That's significant. The good news is that if you up your payment to $68 and pay $167 instead of $99, you can expect to pay this card in half the time, 3 years, saving yourself about $1,300 in interest. Now, that's not a huge impact, but this is a good APR interest rate of 16%. Let's take a look at another card. This card has a $7,000 balance and a great APR interest rate of 14.24%. But look at that minimum payment, $128.16. So if you were to continue to make that minimum payment, and of course, we'll look at down here, if you make no additional charges. So again, being responsible, you decide, I'm going to shred this card. I'm going to put this card away. I'm not making any more payments on it. My goal is to get out of debt. But I'm just going to make the minimum payment of $128. Look at that. 21 years to pay it off. You'll pay over $15,000 in total on a $7,100 credit card. That's significant. Now, if you up that minimum payment, $118, which may not be easy, but it is profitable, and you turn that $128 payment to $247, look at that. You're going to shave 18 years off the life of that loan, and you're going to save about $6,500 in interest. That's pretty significant. And a lot of people will think, you know what, I'm young. I'm not ready to get out of debt right now. There's too many things that I want. So maybe when you're in your mid-20s, you decide, hey, you know what, I need to be responsible. I'm going to shred this card, but I can only afford minimum payments. Look at that, 21 years to pay it off if you do it that way. You won't be mid-20s after 21 years. Yeah, do the math. So what happens when we become credit card dependent? Well, our cash flow becomes sucked up in credit card payments. And those credit card payments are very inefficient. We're paying $100, and like you saw in the other example, only only 40 of that went towards anything. So only 40% of what we paid out had any real meaning to us. And that's a generous example. I mean, generally you're going to be looking at more than just 40%. You're going to be paying, or I'm sorry, less than 40%. You might only get a 25% efficiency in your money. So you're paying $100, but only 25 is actually going to anything that matters. And now saving is a much more difficult and time-consuming venture. We can't save money because we just don't have it. All our cash flow is being sucked into credit card payments or debt payments. And with this limited cash flow, a credit card seems completely necessary for such items as like emergencies or those must-have items, or basically anything that costs more than $100. I mean, when was the last time you went to the movie theater and paid cash? The result? We need more credit cards to survive. We don't have that cash flow. We need to build a synthetic cash flow using credit. No problem? Well, we could just consolidate all of our debt onto one giant credit card. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to a giant credit card. Example 3, this card has over $28,000 on it. But look at that APR interest rate, 13.99%, 14%. That's a great interest rate. And look at that. Minimum payment, $616. So let's say, you know what? I've consolidated everything. I'm going to go ahead and shred the card now, put it away, lock it up, and I'm going to have to make the minimum payment because I can't afford any more than that. Well, there's that little disclaimer down there. We've locked the card up. 35 years to pay that off. You'll have paid $61,000 in interest. I'm sorry, total. So you've paid almost double of what you owe, and all that's just interest. That's just $30,000 going to waste. The good news, if you up your payment, just $362. Sounds simple, right? Yes, it's hard, but there's a good, it's profitable. And you pay just under $1,000 every month. Look at the result. You will shave 32 years off the life of that loan. You'll pay this card off in 3 years, and you'll save yourself about $26,000 in interest. That's huge. So there's a lot of benefit to paying more than your minimum payment. And the credit card statement gives you the information right at the bottom. So, should I only make minimum payments? Absolutely not. Thank you for watching. But more importantly, now that you've watched, what are you going to do with this information? Thanks, and have a pleasant rest of your day.